to see the mask that he put forward, and to also be in. Oof.
I thought the chair broke because it was like scratching, so I thought
that's gotta stay in the
breaking.
video. That's gotta stay in the video.
If you ever read Jack Kerouac, he's got this one poem, Lucian Midnight, I believe. It went by another name at first, but it's the most confusing thing I've ever read. And then I had to find out what it was about, so I looked it up. And it's basically sort of his interpretation of sounds in the outside world, like down his window and stuff. Because it's basically that. There's sentences, but then he'll go off and it'll be just nondescript words. So it kind of gives me like a little freedom to think, like, man, that like poetry, you can do. There's no rules to it. You can do anything with it, and you see that Bukowski wrote his poetry very different than Jack Kerouac.
Oh yeah.
And even their ideas are very different, but you can almost, like you said, see the mask they put forth, and it sort of is very comedian-like.
Yeah.
Without being funny.
Sometimes it is.
But yeah, Jack Kerouac makes me feel like I don't want to put so many rules on my writing.
And on that note, you've been submitting poetry.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that experience has been.
It's been a little obsessive.
Oh yeah, how so?
It's kind of like you know when you're chewing gum and you want to keep putting a new piece in your mouth?
No. That's not me at all.
Well,
it just gets bigger and you start to chew like.
You put a piece of, but that's when you spit it out and you put more gum in.
It feels like a waste.
It loses its flavor. Anyway, anything you do that you're addicted to, you don't necessarily like doing it sometimes, but you can't help yourself. And I don't know how this came about, but it probably was around the time we were doing the website, because I was writing a lot of poetry. But recently, I would say the past year, it's just been like a whirlwind. And something about it, it's almost annoying, because like I want to be writing right now. That's why I have all these books here, which is so unnecessary.
So as you can tell, this is Yekie's side, and this is my side.
Just like the plant.
And the plant's not even real. And it makes me think about that. This idea that I came up with today when I was talking to you. I forget what we were talking about, but I had to write it down. And I guess now reading it again, so what I wrote was, you can feel better when your eyes are closed. So that, in a sense, could be, let's say, a line of poetry. And what it could mean is so many things. It could mean that, when your eyes are closed and you're touching something, all your other senses are boosted, and so you feel better. But also, maybe when your eyes are closed and you give yourself the freedom to express on paper or pen or in movement, you can feel more, you know what I mean? Or sort of like out of the darkness comes the truth, or the light, or however you want to describe that. But the way you describe it now, you talk about that feeling, and it just sounds like you'd want to close your eyes and read a book, or you'd want to close your eyes and write, and that's it. Like if you could write with your eyes closed, you probably would.
Well, sir, you have grasped what poetry is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, every word is very calculated.
It's a lot like music.
And it could mean so many things. So if you ever start seriously writing poetry, let me know your thoughts on the madness, how you feel about it afterward, because it's something very interesting to me. And actually what's funny is that you were reading the Bukowski book and he brought up Rimbaud, forgot who that guy was, and then I came across him again today. He's a poet from the 1800s. He wrote poetry until he was 21. Then he denounced it entirely, and he lived as some arms dealer.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he died at 37 of cancer. But he is a pretty famous poet
That's
for like kind of breaking the rules almost. And also he
Aren't they all? No matter what, like every painter that breaks the rules.
Yeah.